Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get all the latest updates.
Burning religious books, illegally entering houses in churches and harassing and attacking devotees, chasing a pastor with a machete. These are just a few incidents that have happened recently in Karnataka, that a state that has seen a sharp spike in attacks against Christians by Hindutva mobs and goons. A recent report that came out analyzes 39 such incidents that have happened in 2021 alone to provide more proof of what is happening. But the authors of the report say that these incidents are only a few of a majority. Let's hear from them.
First thing is that there is no such thing as forcible conversion. Even conceptually, if a person believes in a particular God, it's a matter of faith. It's a matter of it's a very intimate matter. Nobody's going to be able to force you and say believe in a particular God, pray to a particular God. It's absolutely illogical. It makes absolutely no sense. There's no such thing that exists. In fact, the the, the fact is that when the representatives of the government were asked whether there's any data, they said no, there is no data. There is a report that has come out today, where there was a survey that was actually conducted on the basis of an issue raised by an MLA in Chittorgarh, saying that there are several cases of forcible conversion. The survey that was conducted, this entire thing was looked into and inquired into by the Tahsildar, who finds that there was absolutely no forcible conversion. Everybody has said that we have voluntarily, we believe in a particular God and we are voluntarily going to church and we are praying there. So this whole bogey of forcible conversion that is being put out is nothing but a bogey. It is a way of demonizing the Christian community. It is to say that to try and treat them as second-class citizens, it becomes a method of harassing them, of victimizing them, of threatening them. If you look at the way in which these hate crimes against the Christians have been taking place over the last few months, you will see that when the government started speaking about this anti-conversion law, the number of hate crimes dramatically increased. So what you're looking at is actually this law that is being brought in with a sole intent of weaponizing these Hindutva organizations to go about destroying the lives of people. You're demonizing an entire community. What does it do to their social standing? The fact of the matter is there is no such thing as forcible conversion. It's like saying the government is going to tell you which God you should believe in, who you should pray to. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely unconstitutional. It's a complete violation of the right of privacy of a person, and it's a very clear method of bringing about divisions, bringing about hatred in society. And this is something that the government should absolutely not be doing. If you look at the way in which the government and its various representatives are actually speaking about it, one thing you will see is people say they're not talking about necessarily quote unquote forced conversion. They say, why are they converting people? Why are they converting people by giving money? Why are they converting people belonging to the Dalit communities? The fact of the matter is, they don't even recognize that these people have minds of their own. They think, they make their own decisions. They decide for themselves what they want to do. They've decided for themselves that they've had enough of a religion which treats them as, which doesn't treat them equally, which doesn't treat them with respect, and which doesn't give them dignity. And they've chosen to get out of it. And it's a decision that one must be respecting, instead of which you're going and not even allowing them to get out of that. So this is what Dr. Ambedkar says. Why do you want to be in a religion which does not allow you inside its temples? This is what he says. And this is something that we have to recognize. This is a religion in which you have hierarchy, in which inequality is institutionalized. And this is something that is being fought against. So if people are saying that they want to come out of it, of course everybody has a choice to decide what they want to do with their own life, which God they want to believe in, which religion they want to practice, how they want to practice it. It's a matter of heart. It's a matter of individual choice. It's absolutely something that every person is entitled to. Every person has a right to do. And like you said, there is a very strong attack that one is seeing against the persons of the Dalit community who may have converted to Christianity. And a large amount of it, there's a lot of casteist attack. There's also an element of caste in the attack that takes place, and that's very, very serious. and that cannot be discounted at all. Like you said, one, they said what you must eat. They brought about the cattle slaughter ban. After the cattle slaughter ban, if you look at the fact that the number of attacks against Muslims has dramatically increased. You have people being beaten up, assaulted, and a free hand being given to these Hindutva organizations to go about doing this. Now you have saying that you're going to bring in this anti-conversion law. When you're even talking about it, you have people barging into people's homes and disrupting prayers, indulging in acts of violence, absolute acts of absolute hate crimes that one is saying. They are saying they're going to bring in a law to stop quote unquote love jihad, and by which they're going to say who the person who you should love, who you should marry, who you should have a relationship with. So basically, the government thinks that it has the power to be telling people what you should eat, who you should pray to, who you should fall in love with, who you should have a relationship. This is what the government believes is its business. And the constitution really does not allow for it. The constitution respects the rights and the dignity of the individual. It respects the privacy of the individual. It ensures and guarantees to all individuals this right to live with dignity and privacy. Actually, if you look at it over the last few months, every Sunday has been another day of attacks against Christians. It has been a day when it has the various Hindutva organizations have a field day going around attacking Christians. It's something that we have been saying. Of course, Christmas will be a time of concern for people. Now is a time, in fact, I think we must appeal to the people to recognize that these attacks that are taking place must not be viewed and are not really, they are not attacks only against the Christian community. These are not attacks against Muslims. What you're saying is an attack against all of us. It's an attack against the constitution. It's an attack against all that the freedom fighters fought for. The core principles of liberty, the core principles of equality, the principle of fraternity, which is so important. It is against all of this that these attacks have to be understood as. And this is really the time where the large number of people who are actually not speaking out against these acts of violence, who might really be disturbed by it, who would not subscribe to these acts of violence. And it's really time for everyone to come out and speak out against these acts of violence, these hate crimes that are taking place against minorities, these hate crimes that are taking place against people, these crimes that are taking place against the principles of equality, liberty, and fraternity. And that's really the time now for people to really come out. So what we see as the silent majority, to come out and speak out against this so as to safeguard these values that people fought so hard for.
Yesterday, we released a report from PUCL Karnataka on criminalizing the practice of faith, which looks at the attacks on Christians, the hate crimes on Christians in Karnataka in 2021 from January to November. So I along with 5 other people, was a member of the report writing as well as speaking to the survivors of the violence. To give you a brief about the report, we have looked at the report looks at how, while the conversation is about the right to propagate and how, the right to propagate does not exist, what has effectively happened in Karnataka is that there is no right to practice and profess religion under Article 25 anymore effectively on the ground. And that is our biggest contention, that we have found that people in these incidents, after these hate crimes have happened against these pastors and believers, people have stopped the prayer meetings. And people are not able to come out and gather for praying. And not just that, civil political rights are grossly affected simply because people are not, their neighbors are denying them interaction. They're not being allowed to go to the same schools. Teachers are treating them differently. And these are things that we're seeing on a very routine basis. So it's also civil political rights and very much the right to dignity and right to life that is affected and impacted very severely by these hate crimes against Christians in Karnataka. One is that with the statement of the Chief Minister that he gave in Dakshin Kannada on social morality, forgetting that we have a constitutional morality, and the statement on action and reaction, and that it's a very natural sentiment, it has legitimized the violence of the Hindutva groups in some senses. And we do see that actually all of these 39 incidents were under the leadership during the Home Ministership as well as the Chief Ministership of this particular Baswaraj Bommai, the Chief Minister. So there is, in that sense, a clear indication of what his allegiances are, especially through the state. The incidents in a lesser period of time are almost the same. So in about 6 months, we saw 19-20 incidents. We're seeing 22-23 incidents in about 4-5 months. The thing also is that this is not, it's very important that we recognize that this report that we've put together is not, it's indicative of the ground reality. It is not exhaustive, and we don't claim it to be exhaustive also. There are very, very many underreported cases that have not come up at all because of the fear that is there in the minds of the pastors and the believers, and the threat, the constant threat that they're living under. So this is only indicative in that sense. And the fact that we've been able to document not just us, the 2 more reports of APCR, which is a nationwide report, and of ELI, which is basically a evangelical organization that have documented also 39 incidents of violence. So in that sense, you see that there are more reports that are documenting such hate crimes, but we're only able to give you a bird's eye view of the reality of the lived experiences of the people in the ground.
Right. And like you mentioned, of the reports, one of them also said that the government had ties with the Hindutva mobs which are attacking citizens. Can you go a little bit more into that?
So in 2 of our instances, we see 2 BJP MLAs also overtly involved in these incidents. And otherwise, you see Hindutva mobs such as RSS, the Banjara Nikama, and the Hindu Jagran Vedic, which have been named by the survivors as the people who were participants in the mob. And what I'd like to point out to you specifically is that in the way that these attacks happen on these prayer meetings, on these houses, on these individuals, is that it's not that police is missing. The police is present, and is present after the attack or briefly there to suggest what their allegiances are. So pastors have also told us that they believe that the police knows in advance where the Hindutva mob is going today, right? Where, or what particular locality, which particular church, which particular prayer meeting they're attacking. They seem to already very well know. So the role of the police in that sense has been complicit overtly and covertly, is our finding in these 39 incidents. And it is with extreme amount of pressure and legal assistance, any FIRs are being able to be filed against these Hindutva mobs.
And we pray to the Karnataka government to withdraw this legislation that they are trying to put it, and in order to have it passed in the parliament, in the assembly. So our request is kindly withdraw this, because it will not bring any good to the people at large, and very especially the Christians will surely be affected very much by this legislation. Because even without the law, you won't believe that from January to now, there have been 32 reported incidents of violence, of attacks in the churches. From September to this day, the NDTV has given the 5 very violent have taken place. Belagavi, the Hubli, these are all the cities. There's the Hublis in Belur. We have also heard in Hosadurga and so many other places. So without the legislation, if this can happen, you can imagine what will happen when the legislation is passed. Everyone will carry this legislation in their pockets, and everyone will try to do justice, try to find faults with us for anything. Perhaps I don't think we can even celebrate Christmas properly.
Institutions like the government and police, whose primary duty is to protect citizens, are themselves failing in holding accountable these goons and instead filing cases against the pastors and devotees who are victims of these very attacks. As Christmas draws closer, the anxiety and fears only keep increasing within the minority community in Karnataka. This is Vaishnavi Suresh, and you're watching Mojo Story.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.